Hi everybody, this is Josh Valencia from Good Studio. Today we're going to be looking at the color module again. But before we get started, be sure to follow at Good Studio or check me out at CONSAGRADO. You should see it at the bottom of the screen. We're doing a series on the color modules, like I mentioned before, by DIY recording equipment. Really good stuff, really reasonably priced, really easy to make, and they just sound really great. So that's what I'm going over, what they sound like on the mix I made specifically for this module, and just a good way to get to listen to what this thing could actually do. So today what we're going to be doing is looking at some electric guitars. What I did for the electric guitars, that I use the CTX Cinematic Transformer module inside the 500 series unit, like we've discussed before, and just had the saturation at about 12 o'clock, trim at about 1, and that's the setting I use for what we're going to hear right now. After we hear these, what I call ideal settings for what I was doing, we're going to go ahead and jump and look at the look at what I did with the rest of the look at what we can do with the unit itself. We're going to look at what we can do with the unit itself just by flipping around each module, testing it out. I did change the order. I put the 15 Eqpts second in the chain. It actually sounds nice on the electric guitar that way. So I did that by accident when I made the second module, but that is what it is. We're going to keep it that way. So we're going to listen to the CTX right now. So with that example, well, with those two examples, you could get a good appreciation as to what this unit's doing. If you did hear, there was a distinct level difference between the rhythm and the solo part. That's because the rhythm part actually was compressed down so that the dynamics of my playing, especially on a slide, were minimized. Basically, I wanted it to sound like a rhythm part, not like I was playing a lead part. Unfortunately, I'm not that great at slide, so I need to compensate with a compressor so it sounds even across the board as a rhythm part. And then when I move on to the solo part, I actually wanted the level boost. It fit with what I was doing, and the overall effect of the CTX module, which is, to my ears, a tighter low end, kind of evens out some of those harsh peaks you hear with the lead part especially, but some of the crackliness of the distortion I was doing, or of the recording, which is great. I wanted that when I recorded, but the CTX module made it sound better. It was a different sound. I wasn't looking for that sound originally, or else I would have dialed it in. But this, when I just, ran my sound through it, I realized, oh, that does sound better with that rolled off. thank you, CTX, basically. I was happy to run it through there. It did what I needed it to do. I printed it and went along with the mix. So I was very happy with what it did with the solo in terms of level boost and the added benefit of a tighter low end and a more defined, not so prickly, not the parts weren't like popping out, sticking out, especially in the mix. It kind of sat better because the CTX module was kind of shaping it in a nice way. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to run through the rhythm part and the solo part with the just showing off the module, what it's doing. So I'm going to run through CTX, 15 Ips, and the JFET module by themselves. Then I'm going to go through the permutations of each. I'm going to go ahead, shut up, and you're going to listen to what we did. Thanks for watching, everybody. Just to give a quick synopsis of what we heard, I definitely heard that when combining CTX with JFET on both, it took some of the harshness that JFET had on its own with this particular set of recordings. JFET was extra gritty, which I liked. It was like a chunky kind of grit, which was really nice. And then when you kind of mix that in with the CTX, it kind of smoothed off some of the harshness and made it really nice. 15 Ips got overpowered pretty easily. Even when you did soften it up in terms of backing down the saturation, the added benefit wasn't as noticeable. There was still something there, but it wasn't as obvious as it is with CTX or JFET. So the module, when it sounds good, it sounds great, but when it's kind of like it's more of a one-trick pony than the other two, I would say, the 15 Ips. But when it does hit the spot, it really hits a spot, and it might just be that you need to dial it back a little more than you normally would, and then kind of compensate with the trim. You really don't want to drive that really hard, or else it breaks up. To my ears, it's hard to mix that kind of breakup unless you know the song's totally made for it. This arrangement really wasn't, but like I said before, be sure to check out the module. It's a great product at a great price, really easy to put together if it's your first thing you're doing. Be sure and check that out. It's really great, made by great people too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.